So excited to welcome you both with me for this IG Live. Katie Kaz brought a plushie for support, so I feel extra happy because we always need a plushie. You know what? I feel like I should have an emotional plushie sitting with me when I
Absolutely.
do these. Thank you both for being here with me. I really appreciate it. So basically, how today is going to go, I'm going to do a small intro. We're going to go through our questions. I'm going to give you time to add anything you'd like to add. And then, of course, we'll do an outro, and it should be around 15 minutes. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Um, important question before we start. What is the plushie's name?
This is Hopper.
Hopper! Thank you, Hopper, for also being here with us. We already feel extra love and more wonderful simply by having a companion with us. um, so I'm going to get started, and a big hello to our Highlights Foundation family. We're so happy to have you here with us. For those that may not know me, I'm Kat Galliano. My pronouns are she, her. I am the social media manager for the Highlights Foundation, joining you from Westchester, New York, on the traditional lands of the Siwanoy people. Apart from all the fun things I get to do at the Highlights Foundation, I am also a reader and a writer who is very excited to welcome our friends and faculty Kaz Windness and Katie Mazeika, who will be co-teaching Disability Representation and Picture Book Illustration, a 2-night mini on May 7th and May 9th online. But before we dive in, I just want to remind our viewers that joining in any Highlights Foundation sessions to do so with no hate, no harm, and no harassment of any kind. And now let's get started. So my first question, which of course decided to leave my screen right as we were about to ask it. So technical difficulties. Let me find it. It
And I,
is.
if you'd like me to jump in,
I'm sorry.
I have them up too if you need me.
That would be wonderful because, of course, everything decided to
Yep.
not
Always,
work.
Of course.
can't plan for.
Hold on. Hopefully, yes. If you
No.
don't mind, because I got locked out of my email and everything
Oh,
right now,
gosh.
so so I'm just like, great.
So
Love that for me. Wait, I think I have them right here.
okay, great.
Yeah. Sorry about that, friends. Usually I'm so prepared, but of course, today, of course, everything decided to be a little slower. Okay, here they are. Sorry about that. Got locked out of my email. It flew out of my, I mean, literally everything that could have happened. So sorry, we're ready. We're back to go. So this topic that we will be discussing for this mini is very important, especially with the focus on illustration, because diverse representation in children's books also includes differences in bodies, abilities, and the way that people process the world. So I first wanted to start with what's an example of a book that was memorable for you because of how it accomplished this. It could either be from childhood or a more recent title.
Do you want to go first, Katie?
Sure. The one I remember loving as a kid was Madeline. And Madeline, I lost my eye when I was 3. I was in and out of hospitals, all the way pretty much through early elementary school. Madeline was the only book out there when I was a kid that showed the hospital. Better showed Madeline showing off her scar. That was a big deal to me. But hospitals were taboo, in children's publishing for a long time. Today, I love El Defo. I think El Defo is beautifully done, and it deals with disability from a kid's point of view wonderfully.
Beautiful. I wanted to bring up a new book. This is called Flap Your Hands, a celebration of stimming. And this is my friend Steve Asbell. And this is told from the autistic perspective, but all people stim. And this destigmatizes stimming in such a beautiful way. It shows the overwhelm that we can have when the world is too loud, or It's just difficult to deal with things in our environments. And then he brings in these beautiful, gorgeous illustrations that talk about different ways that we can stem. And some of these I hadn't tried myself, and it was really fun to experiment with them as I was reading through the book. And I just think he does such a beautiful job. And also, I don't see echolalia represented very often in book. And that's certainly, I mean, the way I get through a grocery store is I'm like, um, or organic, organic, organic. You know, I'm just saying whatever word it is over and over and over to comfort me. So this is a beautiful new book. So thanks for asking. That's always a great question. What are you reading?
I just want to make sure our audience knows that we will have a transcript of this conversation. So those names of those titles will be included, because I know that we just sort of talked them out and flashed them quickly. So just want to make sure that the names and authors and illustrators will be mentioned in the transcript, and we'll have all that information for you, because those three titles, definitely. Madeline, of course, I grew up with as well, but I have not read El Defo and I haven't seen that new one. So definitely going to add it to my list. Thank you for sharing. That was so beautiful. And I really, really loved hearing your favorites and what stuck out to you. So my second question is, what's an example from your own work? And what specifically what were you hoping your readers would take away from it?
You want to go first, Katie?
You could go first this time.
Oh, okay. So you probably know Bitsy Bat School Star. And this is my book that's told from the autistic perspective, but it does celebrate every child's difference, which was really important to me. Also in this book, I just wanted, you know, a lot of times they want the book to be inspirational and show what the child does for the community that makes them special and included. I did not want this book to be presented that way. I wanted Bitsy to be accepted for her differences and accommodations made for her differences, and for her to be loved just because she deserves love. So this talks about Bitsy going to school for the first time and being in a classroom full of nocturnal animals who don't hang upside down like she does. They don't have the same kind of sensory issues that she does. And so she tries to fit in. I'm a big masking autistic. And, you know, she tries to do that, but at great consequences to herself. But then she thinks of a way where she can celebrate her differences and also invite other students to talk about what makes them special. And I have included things in this book that show, like, her chair is adapted so she can be at the table with the other kids. Correct orientation. And I also have included other examples of disability in this book. But I've had so many parents and kids come up to me and say, this is the first time I've ever seen someone wearing headphones in the classroom. And normalizing that, because I wear headphones. So normalizing that. And also before, this is something Katie and I were talking about, you know, before people get the negative stereotypes, before they get those biases, if we can let see examples of what it is to be inclusive before they get those in their head, it's so much easier to deal with, get in front of it. So we're not dealing with like undoing all these stereotypes and negative ideas of what disabled people are like. So
that was so powerful. Thank you.
All right. I have two picture book biographies. One, Annette Feels Free, was about Annette Kellerman, and it dealt with disability. Beulah Has a Hunch was about Beulah Louise Henry, and that was, she touched on neurodiversity. And as much as I love these both, the one that I really think says what I want it to is the one I have upcoming called Maybe Just Ask Me, and that's out in the spring. And that one is where I really talk about destigmatizing disability and asking outright, and instead of focusing on not looking, which is something we teach our kids. Don't stare, don't ask, pretend you don't see. Instead, we need to teach our kids it's okay to ask. Curiosity and kindness is always okay, just as long as they understand that it's also okay for people to say, no, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to.
Yeah, kindness is always the answer. I love that so much.
Exactly. And I think I know I was taught to look away, not pay attention. I think that's common, but I think that's just not. I think at this point, when you teach people to look away from um, disabled people, you're othering them,
Hmm.
and you're teaching kids that there's something to be afraid of or something
Mhm.
wrong, and that needs to be undone. We need to stop thinking that way.
That needs to be undone, and us who are already grown need to learn to remember that kindness and that it's okay to ask because
Yeah.
we are already ingrained with that. Don't look, don't ask, don't do anything. So kindness, like lead with kindness. It's okay to ask. And Katie, like you said, if the person doesn't want to answer, you came from a place of love and kindness, that it's okay that there's no answer. And it's like, okay, understood, moving on.
Like
Yep.
curious, and we need to. The first thing I say when I at a school visit is, "It's like, who wants to ask me?" You know,
Yeah,
they're all looking. It's like, it's okay. I
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
yeah,
You want that. But it's kids are naturally curious, and I think to act like they aren't is it's foolish. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and I'm confronting my own internalized ableism all the time. And so, like, having these safe places and what Highlights is providing for
Yeah.
people to say, is this okay? How am I doing this? Because I think we are so afraid of getting it wrong that we aren't talking about
Mhm.
it at all. We aren't putting it in our books, and we need to put it in our books. It is
Mhm.
so this whole workshop is providing a safe place to ask those questions and also to cover the main things that maybe you haven't thought of. I've already learned so much by talking to Katie and seeing what she has prepared so far, and so we're just really excited for that.
Well, thank you, Kaz. I appreciate that, but I got to say, you're your own fount of knowledge, and your representation is beautiful. You're big.
Mutual society.
So basically, what we're trying to say here is that you better come because this is going to be a love fest and a very informational fest.
Yes.
So please come, illustrators, writers, author illustrators, everyone, we encourage you to come because there's a lot to learn. And I get the sense that these two people, wonderful people, know a lot. Oh, and they're going to share a lot. So I hope you consider joining us. So my third and final question is, what do you hope that people will leave this course in their journey to inspire kids through story?
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Um, Illustrators have more power than we realize. Before kids can even read, they're seeing our pictures.
Hmm.
So we need to use that power and make sure, and Kaz touched on this, that we're not using disability tropes, and that we are representing not just the kids who need to see themselves in the books, not just for them, but for everybody. We're representing disability the right way.
Yes. Oh, I couldn't have said that better. And the other thing I'd like to bring into it, I love how Katie, we were talking about this yesterday, and she said, I bring the facts and you bring the fun. But
Yes.
so fun too, and really inspiring to me that, showing accessibility, it adds so much flavor to, like, a way a child represents themselves, and to not just fall back on the symbols that we just kind of have in our mind. We got to throw in a wheelchair. No,
Hmm.
specific specific to the person that's using them. So let's think about that design piece, and also, like, it can be fun.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I want to kind of leave the floor to the both of you if you'd like to add anything before our course, which launches on May 7th,
Mhm.
I believe. So if you'd like to add anything, please go ahead and share.
I did
We are
want to
having
oh,
an
go,
opportunity to have an image reviewed.
yes, I was going to say the same thing.
I'm sorry, Kaz.
No, we yeah, mind meld. Yeah, so we're offering for the second night for people that sign up. by April 30th. So it is coming up quickly. We are going to consider illustrations that you submit. There's just a form that comes with that sign up. So you can submit an illustration. And we're going to have a very safe and fun place to take a look at those illustrations, to offer some suggestions. I already see some great images I'm so excited to talk about. So, this is an added opportunity to not just get our information, but also get personalized information. I think it's so helpful to see like works in progress. And because you want to get it right and get it better before you're putting it in front of an editor or an agent or something like this, like it's the perfect opportunity to get, our help before you go out with it. And we're just here to like celebrate you and lift your voices and help you have more opportunities to share those very important stories. So I do hope you join us.
Absolutely. And like Cass said, a safe space. We're going to have open discussions, talk about why we're seeing some things and why we're not seeing others, and just how to do it best.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
so make sure you register, because that link where you can upload your art and your illustration will be included. So that is so generous of our faculty. Thank you so much for adding that bonus for the class. And I think it's going to be really special to be able to do that in real time and live.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so thank you. And people, if you signed up already, the link I'm sure will be coming your way. And for those that haven't yet, please do. The link will be provided so that you can upload. And again, you have until April 30th for this special bonus. And again, not all pieces will be looked at. I just want to make that clear because of course we are under time constraint. So please share, but again, understand if Katie and Cass don't get to it, it's nothing personal. It was just time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is it from me. Let me just share my script just decided to just fly around. Here it is. Thank goodness we had our friend Hopper today, because I truly needed Hopper today. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. And if you'd like to learn more from Katie and Kaz, please join them on May 7th and 9th for Disability Representation in Picture Book Illustration, a 2-night mini. You can register on our website, highlightsfoundation.org. And lastly, you can purchase Katie and Kaz's books on our virtual bookshop powered by bookshop.org. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Kaz. Thank you, Hopper, for joining us today. And we can't wait to see you online.
Bye.
Thank you, friends. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Bye.